Cosplay props, documentation, Doctor Strange, for Strange Cosplay, by myself, Shannon Harkin. Oh, what I had to go through for this. I drilled holes through here, which is difficult, and something to keep in mind is that this is a magnesium alloy, and if you get bits, well, as the hole went in here, it was borderline with the thin layer here, so there was a hole going that way as well. It just, it's hard to describe. Well, anyway, the drill debris ended up going inside, and that's something you do not want to do. You better be very highly mechanically inclined to be able to open this up without damaging it to get that debris out, because that could short circuit it. And a magnesium alloy, if at a high enough temperature, will ignite and burn very brightly. So, old shoestring, packaging padding, so I can hold it this way on my hand, or put my hand in reverse, hold it shield wise. This is for the Doctor Strange spell disc. Oh man, phenomenal amount of work goes into this stuff. All right, I gotta work on those hand postures. I just have not been practicing, so I have to think about it before I do it. I'm gonna have to spend the whole next week before competition to get that together. There's Eastern software that's involved in the programming in this. It, fortunately, when you plug it into your PC, is able to read MP4 files and a few other video files and convert it into the binary files that this uses. But you want to double check your work and check the final product, because I myself have gotten occasional glitching on it to where when it's on the display fan, the image would begin to flow and then it would freeze. All I pretty much have to do is erase that final copy and just reprocess the video, republish it back onto the chip, which goes into here. You also need an adapter to put this tiny chip into, to plug it into your PC. Power supply. A local electronic supply store, Chris Supply. Now this is the original, which goes here. So a prudent thing to do when doing shopping for this, take this with you. You should be able to find stuff that's sold that has a male or female end plug, loose wires. If they help you properly, they'll find you a match this way. Compare the length, make sure it plugs in all the way, check the type. Pay attention to details, it could matter. Then, this is going to be my charging cord. I still have to get alligator clips for that one. I gotta go back and buy 2 more. And you gotta know your electricity right. There's a white stripe on the line, that's the positive. The other is the negative terminal. As far as these connectors go, the inside is always positive, the outside is negative. So, second purchase, match that again, put clips on it, plug that in here. The voltage of a battery to make this portable must match exactly. The amperage can match exactly or be lower. It'll have to be lower. Especially if it matches exactly, your battery's gonna drain pretty fast. If it's lower, it will last longer. Output, 3 amps. Alright, the original power source, 12 volts, 3 amps. 12 volts, 5 amps. 5 amps is the max it'll do. If your load, which is any electronic device you're hooking up to it, is 5 or lower, it'll work fine. The lower it is, the longer it'll last. The voltage must match exactly. So I made this carrying case for that. I used a strap from my camera case. And I use alligator clips. Slip these off, clip them on. I'll put this back in the bag later. You better be electronic savvy, because if you hook this up wrong, you're going to blow something out or even start a fire. It's really nice having a protective cover on this. Get to hang it from your belt. Speaking of hanging from the belt, my idea in being in cosplay and using this, carrying it around, is that I can hang this over my shoulder. It'll be under my Doctor Strange cloak. And when I get to being on stage or being in the convention public areas and get my picture taken, I can detach one strap, put this on my belt, let this sit on the floor, and it's just the right height, the right length. So I'm not actually holding the battery up, and have some degree of relief that way. Alright, turn this around. Exercise caution at all times. This way up, that way down. You can tell by the way it's designed. Alright. That's the default picture that comes in it. Physics-wise, the center spins the slowest, so if you need to stop it fast, hit it in the center. Shaking with excitement. Let's see, what else could I say about this? Another addition I'm going to do is have another clip on this where I can hang it from my belt and just carry it around that way on my belt. That padding's for my fingers. Spongy but really high density foam. Oh, the other comment is, being that the power supply puts out 5 amps, let me think, I want to make sure I get this right. 3 amp max, 3 amps. It makes an ideal charger for this at 5 amps. If I were to charge it from a 5 amp power supply, this would get hot and be at risk of taking damage or catching on fire. Batteries and capacitors always have to charge slower than they would normally discharge. Very important. All right, that wraps up this segment. Give credit where it's due.